Hi, you guys. You're listening to Good Vibes Sunday, a podcast brought to you by I Am Warhol, the blog. Every Sunday, I'll be sitting down with provocative thinkers, industry disruptors, and culture changers. My intention for every guest is to talk about breaking barriers, shifting old paradigms, and really just opening up in a vulnerable conversation. This week, it's just me, as I've done before. I am just at my home in my living room, having a good old conversation with myself and with you guys, just to spread this idea that has been really swirling around in my mind. Self-love is one of those topics that I feel like no one really wants to talk about, in the sense that if you talk about loving yourself so much, it might come off as arrogant or like you don't care about anybody else and selfish. But I don't feel that way. I feel like I have grown into this place where I just absolutely have fallen in love with who I am becoming. And that's only come through practice. It's come through meditation, through prayer, through all of these practices, and through trial and error and really falling down on my knees and picking myself up, that I began to learn to honor myself, to really give myself permission to be able to love myself. And that way I could spread more love to others that I care so much about in my life. You know, I always say there's a difference between confidence and arrogance, and there's definitely a fine line between that I feel like when we love ourselves, we're able to really transcend a different part of ourselves that doesn't seem arrogant, but it seems stronger, confident, and just a happy, overall good person. But I wasn't just born this way. I've definitely had a journey that has brought me to this place. So I really want to share that with you guys today, in hopes that I could really be contagious to some of you, and that you could wake up today and say, you know what, I want to love myself today. I want to honor myself today, and I want to give myself permission to not have to explain this self-love to anybody, and to be okay and confident in it enough to be in it with yourself. So join me as we dive right in. First, I want to start with talking about just other people and other people's dysfunctions and their opinions about yourself, and just how much that has an effect on the self-love you give to yourself. So I was in a situation at one point in my life, many points in my life, but really one that has stuck out the most to me, where I felt like I was always under a microscope, and I felt like nothing I could do would please anybody. I was gossiped about, I was misunderstood, I was mistranslated, and like I said, no matter what I did, there was nothing ever I could do to change people's minds about who I was. I always felt like I had to nearly apologize for who I was. I had to transform, or I guess you can say conform more than anything to what they believed was the idea that they wanted for me, if that makes any sense. Like, I had to be what they had as an idea of what I should be. So I was never down with that, but at the same time, I felt the pressure of having to fit into this idea they had for me. And with that came unauthenticity. I was never myself. I couldn't be myself because I felt like I was always being scrutinized. And I hate to give out names, so I would never do that. But this was a group of 3 people in particular that just made me feel like I wasn't worthy of being, just who I was. So whether because I was different, because I'm artsy, or whatever it was, there was never enough of who I could be for them to be okay with it. So if that makes any sense. And I'm not venting, I'm actually using this as an example as to what so many people go through. I'm actually really glad I went through that, because it taught me so much about who I am. And when you hit rock bottom and your life kind of, like, I've always talked about this before, and if you've been listening for a long time, then you know what I'm talking about here. But it's like I hit a reset button, and I absolutely, every fuck I've ever given just went right out the door. Like, I went through so many things that at one point in my life I realized that nothing could be worse than this pain I'm going through, and absolutely no one in the world could ever have any effect on me that could ever bring me down. As far as that particular incident in my life made me feel like that much pain in my life could never be replicated. Nothing could ever come close to losing a loved one, right? So this is what I've talked about a million times, and I hate to keep going back there, but this is what happened in my life in particular to hit that reset button, to really make me wake up, to really make me realize that no one in this planet that holds any weapon against you, whether it be through words or violence or gossip or whatever it is that they hold against you, will ever prosper. It will not prosper. Any weapon against you will not prosper. And I didn't know that before that incident happened, before I lost a loved one. So after going through so much pain of losing somebody, you realize this world and this life is so short. You know, this time that you have on this planet is so limited. And why in the world would I ever waste 1 minute ever caring so much about what other people think of me when they don't know me? I know myself, the people I love and who are behind me and support me and put all their energy behind me, those people know exactly who I am. And that is where my energy should go. And I ripped away the energy I had given to those people that didn't believe in me. I ripped that away from them. I literally took it back out of their hands, back into my possession, and gave that energy to those I love. And now I practice this every single day, whether it's with clients who don't respect me, whether it's with people that don't respect me, anybody and anything that does not suit my life, that does not better me, that does not provide love and happiness and fulfillment in my life. I rip that away from them. They don't own that. I own it. You know, it's my happiness. It's my energy. Why am I giving that to them? You know, and the negative energy that they give to me, that's theirs. You know, I got to give that back too, because the energy that they provide to everybody here's the thing, is that we think that it's only being given to us, but it's not. See, that negative energy that those people carry, they have to live with that. That's theirs. It's not yours. It's not mine. It's theirs. Give that back to them, and you take your energy back that you've given to them. Right? So in response or in reaction to their negative energy, that energy that you've given to them, take that back. You know, take ownership of that, take possession and take responsibility, because it is your fault. It was my fault for even giving them the attention, for even giving them the time of day, for even giving 1 minute to even waste on this planet to care about what the hell they had to say about me. Take ownership of that. Take it back. You know, and realize that hate, the negative energy that they give to you, they give to everything in their life. So other people in their life, they give it to the work they provide, they give it to the things that they do, their loved one, they give that to everybody. They live in that place. It's not your responsibility. It's not yours. It's theirs. So give that back. As Oprah said, when someone spreads lies about you, it's not about you. Ever. Gossip, whether it's in the form of a rumor or someone trying to reduce you down to a diluted version of yourself, reflects the insecurity of those who initiate it. Often, when we make negative statements about others behind their back, it's because we want to feel powerful. And that's usually because in so many ways, we feel powerless, unworthy, not courageous enough to stand behind what we say about others. Hurtful words send the message both to ourselves and to those with whom we share them that we cannot be trusted. What would happen if we declared our homes, relationships, our lives as a gossip-free zone? We'd probably be surprised at how much time we'd free up to do what's most significant. Building up our dreams rather than tearing others down. We'd fill our homes with love and the spirit of truth that makes visitors want to kick off their shoes and stay a while. And we'd remember that while words have the power to destroy, they also have the power to heal. Woo woo Oprah. I love Oprah. Honestly, those words hold so much weight. You know, they're short words, but they are so powerful, and especially in terms of self-love and this whole topic of just not caring what other people think. And if people have to gossip, like I said, it's theirs, it's not ours. I'm going to carry this into competition. This could be competition between just people or our business. For example, our business, we have tons of competition for some random reason, every agent out there is out to get each other, which makes no sense to me because there are loads and loads of homes out there for everybody. But for some reason, everybody feels the need to really tear each other down and steal each other's clients and all of that shebang. But my observation has been a lot based on watching how people react to certain situations. So for example, I've noticed that when somebody who is perhaps lacking in a certain area of their business and someone or for example, let's say that they were the first or the only ones to do something, when someone else comes out and does it better, instantly it's hate, right? So for example, I feel like a lot of older agents are very threatened by the younger agents. They have turned to kind of hate and they actually talk down about millennials. I've had a situation where a particular broker, real estate agent, showed me a video. They proceeded to show me a video that was making fun of millennials, and she was standing behind me just, ha, 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 isn't it so funny? I mean, I'm not even joking when I say this. This is a human being really doing this to another person within the industry. And it blew my mind because, I didn't even react to it because I was just like, wow, that's pretty pathetic. But, it just shows the insecurity that lives within just a certain generation, even just being threatened by a new generation. And especially when we, the younger generation, is coming after clients who are first-time home buyers. They're our own people, right? Because that's who we feel we connect the most to, is these new millennials. And a lot of times these older baby boomers feel like, well, you guys have the poor people, because, millennials are typically known as the ones who don't have very much money, etc. But like, for example, Adam and myself, we don't care. We're not in it for the dollar. We're in it for the long term. We're in it for the rest of our lives. Like this, we want to grow with our clients. We want to be able to watch you guys have, your babies and get married and grow from one home to another and be able to provide a lifestyle that is just something, there's so much power in being able to help someone buy their first home. And there's so much gratification that comes from the process of watching that person evolve as a family, as a person. Oh gosh, I can go on forever and gush about it. But that's the stuff that people don't understand, and that's what sets people apart, especially as agents. It makes me laugh when we talk about competition because, I've had certain clients tell us, oh, well, we want someone with more experience. I can tell you this right now. We've been doing this now for a little while, so this was in the beginning, but I remember how hungry Adam and I were in the beginning. And I can tell you this much, that 10 years down the line, the hunger will never end because that's a personality thing. It's not an age thing. I can tell you that first listing to our last listing ever will be the same exact hunger because that's just who we are. And knowledge, paperwork is paperwork. Real estate paperwork is the same. There's no magic to it. Negotiating, yes, there's a magic to that, but that's a personality thing. And you get better at it in time. But I've known some agents who have been in the business for 20 years, for 30 years, and they have gotten so damn comfortable. They have lost so much of their hunger that they're just lazy now, and I may get some controversy about it, but I don't care because I can say this freely, is that when you are looking for somebody, don't look at how long they've been in the business. Don't look at it how, someone referred you to this person. It should truly be about who that person is as a human being. So in terms of competition, I can translate this to you as a normal person who doesn't necessarily have a job that requires, a whole lot of competition, but just somebody who is living their life and says, what, how do I compete in my job force, or just how do I compete in life in general to progress, to be better. Just understand that you need to stay confident in what you are and who you are. Stay confident and believe in the power that lives behind what what your passions are, what you stand for, who you are as a person. And that will prevail no matter what. And going back to this whole energy thing, I always say that, competition, I've actually done a podcast on this, but competition is just like running a race. And if you're going to be running a race against 5 people, let's say, and you take off running as fast as you can, you do not look back. The energy and time that it takes for you to turn around and look to see where everybody else is at, that time and energy is being robbed from the time and energy you could have been spending on getting to that finish line faster. Right? So if you turn around and look back, like, who cares where they're at? Who cares? You run as fast as you can, as confident as you can, knowing that all that preparation, that, you got to work hard. This isn't to say just run. No, before that race, you have to prepare every single day. You have to work as hard as you can every single day. And when you are in that race, you have to trust that all of that preparation, all of that practice will get you to that finish line. Don't worry about anybody else. The time and the energy it takes to turn around to see what the hell they're doing or where they're at is going to stop you from running faster. It's going to stop you from getting to that finish line because that split second could have been spent getting further ahead. I'm telling you guys, confidence comes, and this isn't to say that I don't see sometimes something I'm like, that, I felt that a little bit. I feel a little wish I had a little bit of that, or I wish I had that. No, like, I'm human here, right? I'm not hoping to live a trial-free life. I'm just hoping that every time I feel that, I'm aware of it and that I could catch myself so that I'm better for it, that I learn every single time that I get that feeling of jealousy or envy, that I know instantly what I'm feeling and I could be more aware of it so that I could turn it off faster. I can move through it faster and I don't act on it. I don't feed into it. I don't give it any energy. I just kind of feel it, acknowledge it, and move through it. I'm telling you guys, this stuff comes from absolutely learning to love yourself. The more confident you become in who you are, the more tangible that person you are, that character you're striving to be just becomes. Like, it's like almost like you can taste it. You feel it so deep inside yourself. You have such a purpose. That purpose is placed there by God or the universe, whatever you believe in. That purpose of who you are, once you become familiar with that, once you say, hey, what's up, purpose? Hey, who are you? Oh, that's who you are? Okay, I got you. Once you get to that place, I'm telling you, nothing breaks you because you're so one. You become one with this person, with this purpose, this person you're supposed to be, which is beyond material things, which is beyond tangible life, earthly, things. It's further inside of yourself. It's the reason you've been placed here. It's what you are here to do on this planet and during this lifetime. That's what I'm talking about. Once you get inside of that place is so beautiful. And there's nothing else outside of that. Like, it's all you see, it's all you know. And from that place, you can be your highest self. And everything around, like, you have somebody gossip around you, it doesn't even move you, right? And I'm not saying this comes right away. Like, I'm still practicing this. I'm still growing into this person. But I get to higher levels of it. And I feel like by the time I'm like 80, I'll be in like a really good place, because if I just continue to be on this path, then I will be unstoppable. Like, I feel that in my heart, and I know that I could feel that for you. Another thing I want to talk about is the bullshit radar. And I'm sorry if I'm cussing so much today. I know I typically don't, but I get really passionate about this and I don't know how else to come across. But, yeah, your bullshit radar. Here's the thing that happens when you begin to love yourself so damn much and you become so confident in who you are that nothing can ever touch you, is that your bullshit radar just becomes super hypersensitive. That you begin to take less and less crap from people and begin to be more aware of when people are BSing you. You begin to really open up to the possibility that not everybody is part of your tribe. Not everybody is in it for you, and not everybody's here to follow you, right? So not everybody's going to believe in you. And a lot of times people have this way of weaseling their way in and trying to get in your head, by saying negative things, throwing shade, little jabs here and there. And you begin to be way more aware of those things. You begin to stand less for that. So your tolerance for people like that is so short that you just begin to find it a lot easier to push them out and to instantly shut it off, like instantly defend yourself in a way that is so demeaning in a way to them because they're smaller for it, right? Like it doesn't make them bigger. It makes them smaller. And the moment that you don't feed into it, it just pisses them off more. So you're able to just smell the bullshit. You're able to move through it faster and just shut it off and just move fast. With this whole radar of smelling the bullshit from afar, I want to talk about the disease to please, which is saying yes when you really mean no. As you become more confident and more in your own skin and yourself and what your purpose is and what direction you're going, you ever feel like when people ask you something, you feel the need or the obligation to say yes, but deep down, you know it's not serving your purpose, it's not serving you, it's not helping anything that you believe in, but you still say yes, and you know it's wrong, like you don't feel it with all your heart? Stop that. Don't do that. That is so against everything that is self-love. You have to be in it for yourself, and you have got to give yourself permission to say no. I know it's hard, and I'm telling you this so passionately because that was my biggest downfall. I used to say yes to people that invite me to go out, or I would say yes to people just in general. I would always say yes. And deep down, I never felt it fully. And now I'm in a place where I say no. If I don't feel it, if it's not in alignment with what I believe, if it's not in alignment with something that I'm passionate about and that promotes love and all this goodness, I don't want any part of it. I have no interest in wasting my time. I value my time so much on this planet. I value the time that I could spend with my family. I could value the time that I spend with friends or with family or people that I love, with work, that I have no time outside of that. I have no time outside of that for bullshit. Do I sound selfish? Maybe. To some. But to me, it's honorable. It's honorable to give yourself the self-love you deserve. It's honorable to be able to live in a place where you're so confident in yourself and what you're here to do that everything that doesn't fit within that no longer matters. That is honorable. It's not selfish. One thing that I am very passionate about is to never cling onto anybody for happiness. The happiness and everything you'll ever need is found within yourself. So understanding that you will not ever find happiness in anybody else but yourself. It lives in you. You have to fall in love with yourself. And when you can fall in love with yourself and when you can be in love with yourself when you're by yourself, then you learn to not hang on to others for happiness. You learn to not seek approval from anybody. You learn that all of it that you will ever need will be within yourself. You have to approve yourself. And it starts by really just sitting down with yourself to face your thoughts, the beautiful thoughts, the negative thoughts, the good ones, the bad ones, and really just sit down with those thoughts and build peace with them, agree with them, and understand that they're all there just to learn from, to embrace them. And really that's where the juice is. Let me talk about how deep I get. I feel like sometimes, I post on social media or whatever it is, and I feel like, gosh, Astrid, you're just being so deep about things. Like, do people even care? Like, do they want to listen? Or like, oh, there she goes again. And then I go back to this whole idea about like, what am I in it for? Am I in it for them or am I in it for me? I've had people write me on social media on just about how this podcast has helped them. And, I get so excited and please do that for me, guys. Like every time you feel the need to tell me that this podcast has really set well with you and that you just have taken something, whether it's anything from it, please feel free to let me know. I absolutely love it because it makes me feel, it really feeds into this confidence that what I'm doing, I'm in it with myself and I'm in it with those people that actually believe in this, that actually want to be better for themselves, right? Because what do I get out of this, right? I get the satisfaction of knowing that at least whoever can relate to what I'm saying can be better for it. That alone just fills me up. I also want to talk about supplements. So here's another thing about being able to really feel your best every day. And that's not every single day because we are human and it is okay. Give yourself permission to wake up some days and just feel like shit. Like, I know Adam, he has the biggest trouble with this because Adam is the guy that wants to wake up, and especially when he was in baseball, he would want to wake up every day and just feel amazing, right? Because he had to go out there and perform. He had to live up to a certain expectation where, you know, if he's not performing at his tip-top shape, right, every single time, then he is being scrutinized for it. I mean, it's basically his entire career depends on it. So that's a lot of pressure. But I feel like as soon as we become comfortable with being uncomfortable, so there's days that we aren't going to feel our best, as soon as we agree with those days and we just say, okay, I don't feel too great today. That's okay, right? I'm human. Let me just feel this. Let me just feel it and just move through it, right? So whether it's through a meditation, whether it's through writing, whether it's through just focusing on positive things, turning your attention, just forcing yourself, almost fake it till you make it, right? To try to turn your energy towards something positive on those days is not something, it's not fake. It's not unworthy. It's actually honorable. It's honorable to try to really make yourself just feel better, but also acknowledge that you aren't feeling good, that you are just feeling like crap today, and to be okay with it and just kind of ride that wave until it's gone. But going back to this idea of supplements, and if you're listening on the podcast app, go ahead and click on the link to take you back to I Am Warhol, our blog. And I'm going to link my supplements that I take every single day that make me feel that, you know, these bad days, it really limits them. It makes me feel healthier every day when I wake up. My body just is ready to go. So one of them is Sammy. And I heard about this a long time ago, but there had been days after, especially I had my son, that I felt really depressed and just out of tune and out of alignment. And I always kind of just woke up in a haze. And I felt like I was floating through life instead of being very alert and just feeling well. So a big part of loving yourself is giving yourself a well-balanced diet. That's not to say that you have to be on a super low carb, absolutely harsh diet. No, I'm talking about just providing nutrition to yourself to where you feel well. And this is, of course, you guys know this stuff. I mean, you can Google this now and you have so much information available to you to know that you can really obtain a diet that is well balanced and that could make you feel just at your tip top best every single day that you possibly can control. And I always say this, it's one of those things that if you can control it, just do it, right? Just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. Not everything is in your control, and don't try to control everything. But whatever is in your control, focus on those things. You can control your diet. You can control the supplements you take. You can control what you focus on. You can control the energy you give to things. You can control people you allow into your life. You can control the work that you do, how you serve people. You can control so many aspects. Like I'm going to move right into homes. I want to go back to this idea about what Oprah said, where she says, what happens if we declare our homes, relationships, and our lives as a gossip-free zone? So this is to say, and I've had a whole podcast on this as well, of how to make your home a sanctuary. So I'm going to move in that direction. I'm going to talk about your home because ultimately that's what this is about, right? So this whole Good Vibe Sunday, creating homes that you can thrive in. And I feel like our homes are just a structure. They're just drywall, they're paint and tiles and et cetera, that all these materials that make up a home aren't a home, right? They're a house, but it's you, it's your family, it's your attitude, it's the words that you say, it's those dinners you hold with your loved ones, it's the Christmases you have, it's the way you treat each other. Arguments are, those things are the things that sabotage a home, that inject that really bad energy. And I feel like if we can live a purposeful life, if we can wake up and live our best life every single day, or at least strive to live our best life every single day, that's what makes a home a home. That is where the love lives. That's why our motto is home is the root of the soul. We spend 90% of our time at home. Well, a lot of people spend it at work too, and that could be a whole nother subject. But at the end of the day, at the end of those really long days, we come home to our home, right? So we all have this need for that Mecca, that place that we could call our sanctuary. And if we live lives outside of our homes in a negative, dirty manner, we're bringing that inside of our homes. We're sharing that with our kids. We're spreading it to our husbands, and it lives in the house, and that's not a good way to live. This is about really providing a lifestyle so that you could have a positive, thriving, loving home. So going back to Oprah's idea about declaring our homes a gossip-free zone, I have done this actually after reading her book, What I Know for Sure. If you haven't read this book, gosh, I've preached about this one before, but honestly, you all have to read this book. It's a very short read. It's very easy to read it. And it really covers so many different aspects of life. But in particular, I want to focus on declaring our homes as a gossip-free zone. And what this means is basically, I believe Goldie Hawn, the actress, does this. And she says that nobody speaks bad words or negative comments or negative scrutiny about anybody else in the house, whether it be between each other or other people. And I feel like this is such a powerful way to live. And this is a powerful declaration to do this in your home, to say to everybody who lives there, no, we are not to say that about that person. No, we are not going to talk bad about that person. No, we're not going to feed our energy into that negative talk, because that language begins to live in your home. It sits on your sofa. It sits on the countertops. It'll kind of like have this heavy cloud in your house, and it grows and grows and grows. And if you just continue to feed it, it's not a good environment for our children, for ourselves, and for our husbands, and for our wives, if you're a man listening. But it's just declaring our homes as a home of just peace and love. And I might sound so cliche to say that, but you guys wouldn't believe just how much it really just transforms your entire environment. When you're running yourself completely crazy, especially as moms, I've done this. I'm guilty of it. Please understand that I am coming from a place where I do it too, and if I say this, I'm reminding myself every Sunday, just to not be this person. But, we run ourselves dry. Like, we run ourselves to the ground sometimes, because we put so much energy and effort into really multitasking, into getting so much done and crunching it all in one day, that when it comes to self-love, when it comes to giving ourselves moments of rest, moments of just disconnecting from everyone, including our kids, we carry the guilt of, I shouldn't know. How dare you say that, Astrid? I should disconnect from my kids. I'm telling you, yes. Go to a room, pick a place in your house where you can declare that a no kids zone. Like, no kids come here, no husband comes here. This is my little spot, my corner. I don't care if it's a closet, a corner, whatever it is, where you can go into. And when you're feeling like situations are pressing in upon you, like your kids are driving you nuts, like whatever it is, when you're feeling like you need a break, go give yourself that break. Go to that spot and take a breath, take a few breaths, and just give yourself permission to just get back to your center. I'm telling you, when you do this, you are able to just go back to whatever it is that you were, facing beforehand. You are able to go back to that with such a clear mind and such a better place than you were beforehand. Speaking of this, giving yourself moments of rest is so huge and so important. I try at least 10 minutes a day to give myself just some, and this is 10 minutes a day, multiple times throughout the day, where I will be, working hard, and then all of a sudden I know that I'm so let me tell you guys this. As soon as you wake up, it is scientifically proven that when we sleep, our frontal cortex, so that part in your brain that's right in the front, that section of your brain is off. That's the section that is the chatterbox, right? That's the section that just gives you crap all day long and you just can't turn it off. Okay, so that chatterbox, that's why when you drink alcohol, and this isn't encouraging alcohol or anything, but if you have one wine a day, it actually turns that down. It turns the volume down in that space. So when you go to give yourself these breaks and you breathe, it helps turn down that volume. And they say that, scientifically proven, they say that when we sleep, this is completely off. It shuts off. It's because we all need it. Our bodies need to recover. Our minds need to recover from all the chatter that's been going on all day. So the better we get at giving those chatter boxes to just tune the fuck down, like just to take it down a notch, then the better and the more productive we are. So in the morning, right after you wake up, that chatter box is off. Right? So as soon as you wake up, it begins to just inhale and inhale and inhale more chatter. What you want to do is those first 5 hours, or not at 5, it's actually first 4 hours of your day, you need to do whatever is most productive. So if you want to be most productive, I call it being in flow. When you want to get into this state of flow, the best time to do this is in the morning, is right when you wake up, head first into whatever it is you want to be most productive and most creative. Creativity comes from this state of flow, which is best in the morning. Most people try to go at night, and it's actually counterproductive because your mind is so tired that for creativity, it has to be open. That chatter needs to shush, and you need to just have it be just quiet. And that time in the morning is the best time to do it. What we also need for ourselves is to give ourselves breaks from social media. And I've talked about this so many times. You know, social media, to me, it's like money. Whatever you were before you had a lot of money, you will just be that 10 times more. So if you're a really good person before money, when you have money, you're going to be 10 times better of a person, right? And then if you're a bad person before money, when you have money, you're going to be 10 times worse of a person. That's the way I see social media. I feel like social media is a double-edged sword. It could be such a great marketing tool. It could help you connect with people you would have never had a chance to connect with. It's definitely connected me with a million people, not a million, but tons and tons of people that have supported me and that I love. And honestly, it's created a community. However, it also has the other edge sword, which is that it just is so much pressure. So it just, like I was saying about that chatterbox in your mind, well, that social media activity really just gets in there. It just amplifies that sound in that frontal cortex of your brain. It makes it louder. So giving yourself days of no social media. So I call my social media free days, where I just don't go on at all. I don't look at anything. Those days are absolutely essential. You know, it's all about balance, just like a diet. It's not to say you're going to completely go carb free. You need those carbs, but you need to limit them. You need to know how much you're intaking. And it's the same with social media. I think that it just could be a double-edged sword, and we need to take breaks from it. I want to go back to this idea about giving yourself time, about giving yourself love. And I feel like a lot of women have a really hard time with doing this. A lot of times when we get married and we have kids, we let ourselves go. You know, we wake up and say, well, why do we have to do our hair? Oh, I'm much too busy to do that, right? But too busy for what? To give yourself love, to give yourself the time of just being with yourself and making yourself beautiful for you. That if you don't have time to give yourself time, you don't have a life, you know, because in reality, let me explain it to you this way. I always say it's like being on an airplane. You know, when the flight attendant says that you have to, in case of an emergency, you have to be able to put your oxygen mask on first before you can help anybody else. So before you can help your children or before anybody else, you have to put that oxygen mask on yourself. If you don't have it on and you're lacking oxygen, how are you going to be able to help anybody else? So I say the same is true with self-love, with giving yourself time, with getting ready in the morning some days. Like, all you have to do is help yourself feel better, and then you can give that love and that help to everybody else in your life. You can be better for it. You could be the best version of yourself for your husband, for your kids, for your coworkers, for your job, for your passions, for your dreams, for everything. But it starts with you. If you're not in it with yourself, if you're not feeling good, you're not going to spread and radiate that to everybody you love. It's not going to transcend into the things that you love to do, into your work, into your passions. It's just, I feel like people can smell it on you, right? It's one of those things that if you're not radiating that, everybody can feel it. You ever have those days where you're just in a crappy space and you're just taking, everything starts to happen like a kind of like a snowball effect. You know, you had a crappy morning, you spilled coffee on your way to work, then when you get to work you're late because of it, and then maybe you got pulled over by a cop at that time. You know what I'm saying? It just, like, negativity begins to roll into more negativity and more negativity, and then you're in that space, you're in that predicament. And when you're in that space, I'm telling you, it's really hard to get out. So just give yourself the time and the love to really just slow down. You know, just give yourself that time and that space to just slow it all down, to get yourself right, so that everything thereafter just blossoms into healthier conversations, healthier dialects, healthier friendships and relationships and work, and just healthier overall life. I'm telling you guys, this isn't easy to do. I work with my husband, and we are around each other probably 24 hours a day. I mean, there's obviously days where we have less time together, but for the most part, we're always around each other. And really getting this right on both ends has been crucial for us to continue to work together, to be able to give our jobs 100%, to be parents 100%, and just to be present for each other, to show each other that love that we still have. I mean, after so long, you know, I've known this guy since high school, you guys. I've known him. We haven't been together since high school, but we've known each other since high school. We grew up 5 minutes from each other. And I'm telling you guys, it's, you know, it's really easy to go into a dark place with your spouse when you're working together, when, you know, situations are pressing in upon you. And we've had so much stress in our life. We've had so many outside influences to really press on us and try to really cut through us. And we have been able to manage how to go around all of that just by being able to love ourselves first. I'm telling you, it's so powerful. It keeps every aspect of your life in line. It keeps it healthy. Adam knows that if I don't love myself first, I can't love him. It begins with me. And the same is true for him. You know, if he's not giving himself that self-love, that working out every day, just meditating, praying, like doing things, feeding his soul, supplements, like the time he takes his breaks, he gives himself that love that he just deserves to give himself, and that I do the same. And at the end of the day, we come together as parents and as lovers and as partners in jobs, that it just all kind of flows, guys. I'm telling you, I don't know how to explain it any deeper, but I could promise you this. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it, as cliche as that sounds. I really want to finish this off with expectations. And not so much as expectations that we place on others, but I want to start with expectations that we set on ourselves. Give yourself a break. You know, you are not Superwoman. You are not this out of this world figure that needs to have it right all the damn time. Give yourself permission to screw it up sometimes. But as long as you're learning from your mistakes, as long as you're aware of them, you're gonna be standing on higher ground after them all the time. Every single time that you don't have it together, just be aware of it and learn from that, and then take whatever you're supposed to take and then just move on. Get through it faster. Don't linger. Don't hunker in on negativity. Just move through it and stop expecting so many things from yourself. Just be you. You know, if someone says something about you, who cares? Move through it. They're not in it for you. You're in it with yourself. You are gonna leave this world by yourself. As long as you are okay in your own mind about who you are and what your intentions are. I've had a whole podcast on intentions, guys, and really everything stems from your intentions. Okay? If you have good intentions, if you're coming from a place where all you have to share is love and all you're trying to do is relate and connect to people, and or whatever it is that you're doing, if it's coming from a good place within you, that is all that matters. That will transcend, and you're always going to have haters. You're always going to have the trolls. You're always going to have people that have something to say. Imagine this. There are always going to be people that are going to say things. Imagine you living your life for them where you're never going to win that battle. You're never going to satisfy every single person, so why try? So many people stay quiet because they don't want to be criticized. I remember someone saying that me and Adam were always trying to get attention. Like, oh, look at us. Like, if you think that, then that's maybe what you feel for yourself. Maybe that's why you're so quiet all the time, because you want that attention. We don't want attention. We don't crave it. All we're trying to do is connect with people to really get our business out there, to do our marketing, and that's it. And just have people know, and we're moving with the times, have people know who we are. Social media is not going anywhere. Why are we going to try to resist it? If we can utilize it as a tool for our business, if we can utilize it as a tool to connect with people and just move with the times, because let's be real, are we living under a rock? No, we're going to move with the times. We're not going to resist them. So if people have a problem with you and they don't agree with your life or what you're doing, just understand that that's a reflection of them. It doesn't belong to you. It's not your own reflection. That is theirs. They own it. Don't make that about yourself. Because in the end, guys, negativity will never prevail. So in the end, if your intentions are good, if you have positive intentions and positive directions and a good path, at the end of the day, the ones who matter will always follow. Okay? The ones who matter will always follow. And that's the only thing you should be concerned with. Everybody else can fall out of your life, and that's okay. They're doing you a favor. All right, guys, I'll end it there. And I'm wishing you all just to really just love yourselves, to grow into yourselves, and just get to know that purpose that's inside of you. Why are you here? Ask those empowering questions every single day. What is my purpose? What was I placed here to do? And once you get to know that side of you, you're going to be on higher ground. I promise. Nothing will ever knock you down, all right? Thank you for tuning in, Good Vibers. And be sure to subscribe to Good Vibes Sunday by downloading the podcast app found at the App Store. Catch you all next week. Have a happy, happy Sunday.